So March has arrived, and normally that means that spring is on the way. But as you can see, it seems like a million miles away from springtime here in the UK at the moment, because we have had even more snow. Yes, it's freezing cold here in the UK. It is supposed to be March. Can you believe it? Anyway, I hope you are feeling warm and cozy where you are, because it's just after 2 o'clock here in the UK. It's Sunday afternoon, and this is Live English. Oh, are we on already? Oh my goodness, I'm still getting ready. Can you see? Can you see? Because of last week, you see, because now we are broadcasting in high definition, apparently people have noticed that my t-shirt is not ironed. So I am ironing my t-shirt to keep everyone happy. So I hope you are satisfied. I hope there aren't too many creases in my t-shirt. I hope you can hear me, because last week we had 1 or 2 problems with the sound. Can you hear me okay? If you can't hear me very well, please let me know. If you can hear me very well, also please let me know, because I don't know why. Sometimes the sound on here isn't very good and sometimes it is. So if you can hear me okay, please let me know. Oh, we can hear you, Mr. Duncan. Oh, that's good to know. Yes, thank you very much for letting me know that. Let me just turn the lights down slightly. Excuse me. I'm just doing some housework here. That's better. I'm not so bright now, in many ways. So here we go. Oh my goodness, what a busy week it has been. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin explaining what has happened this week. We've had so much going on at the moment. And also, can I just say, thank you very much for all of your lovely messages during the week, because I've started doing my Wednesday night live stream. Now, 1 or 2 of you have asked, when are you on, Mr. Duncan? So I'm going to show you right now when I'm on. Just up there. Can you see? There they are, the dates. So they are the dates that I will be on broadcasting live, and you can see them now on the screen. So of course I am with you today, as you can see. Also next week on the 11th, the 18th and the 25th, all of those are Sundays. And of course we are now doing an extra live stream during the week. Oh yes, we are now doing one on Wednesday the 7th. That's this Wednesday, of course. Also the 14th, the 21st and the 28th. All of those are Wednesdays. So now you know when we are on. So I hope that helps you. I hope now you are informed as to when we are on YouTube next. So I'm on Wednesday, and also I am on Sunday, as you can see right now, because we are here broadcasting as live can be. Did you see me the other day in the snow on March the 1st? We had lots of snow this week. In fact, I'm going to mention the snow right now. So here we go. This is the beast from the east, which was causing quite a lot of chaos this week. We had a lot of snow and a lot of strong icy winds as well. It was so cold this week. It was freezing cold. The snow was coming down very heavily, As you can see, there is the view in my garden. Would you like to see some more snow? Okay, this is the snow as it was falling at its most extreme. So look at that. Look how fast the snow was coming down. It was very snowy indeed. And apparently a lot of this snow, a lot of the cold weather was coming from Siberia, of all places. So just in case you are watching in Siberia, please can I say hello to you? Hello to all those watching in Siberia. Thank you very much for joining me today, and also thanks a lot for your weather. Thanks for sending me all of your cold weather. We did enjoy it very much. So the beast from the east. Besides that, we also had another storm, Storm Emma, which came from the south. So first of all we had the eastern storm, and then we had the southern storm. So we've had two storms this week, two very bad storms. Would you like to see the view this morning? Now at the moment the snow is melting quite quickly because the temperature is beginning to rise. So here it is, the view this morning in the garden. Very misty today, very murky. That's a great word. I love that word, murky. And can you see the footprints in the snow? And also something else as well in the snow. Can you see another mark in the snow as well? That is something I will show you later on. So there it is, the view, the actual view this morning. So the snow is now starting to melt. We were busy yesterday outside clearing the snow away. We were very busy yesterday getting rid of all of the snow. Very busy indeed. So how are you today? Are you okay? I really wish that everything in your world is fine. Let's have a look at the live chat, because lots of people are already saying hello. There it is. The live chat is as live as can be. Thank you, Hisham. Hisham says, yes, Mr. Duncan, it's very murky. Hello, Juku. Hello also, Mohammed. Christina. Hello, Christina Jackson. Thanks for your message. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Mozoon is here, watching in Saudi Arabia. Also, Amir. Hello, I'm Amir from India. Mohammed Cherkawi is also here as well. Ute is here, watching in Germany. Hello, Ute. I haven't seen you for a long time. Nimatula is here. Hello to you as well. Slava is here, watching in the Ukraine. You look great today. Much younger. Thank you, Tias, for that. Let's just say I've had a very busy week. Yesterday I was clearing snow, helping some of my neighbours clear the snow from their pavements and paths and roads and driveways. Mr. Steve and myself were very busy yesterday. Hello to Joraz, who is watching in Mexico. Also Hamid. Hello, Hamid. How are you today? Fabiano is watching in London. Hello, Fabiano. How is the weather in London at the moment? Is it still snowy there? Fortunately, the snow is starting to melt now here in Much Wenlock. Hello, Mr. Duncan. How are you? You have a lovely garden. Thank you, Leonard. The garden is quite nice, but it takes a lot of work to keep it looking tidy. Also, Hasna watching in Morocco, and Sukat is here. Hello, Sukat. Nice to see you today. We can hear you perfectly. I don't know what happened last week. There was something wrong with the sound last week. You know, when people make videos, when people film, one of the things they often forget is the quality of the sound. So they might have a nice picture, but quite often they forget how to record the sound. Now, I was watching something with Mr. Steve last night, and it was one of Mr. Steve's shows. He sometimes appears on the stage, and someone normally will videotape. They will record the actual show. But quite often they will get the camera in the right place and they will film it, but they always forget about the most important thing, which is the sound quality. A lot of people forget about the sound quality. So that is something that many people forget, especially when you are filming outside. If you are filming outside, there are all sorts of things you have to consider. You have to think about the wind. You have to think about all the noise around you. So there are many things to consider when you are filming something. And I always think the sound is the most important thing. Back to the live chat. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I'm from Pakistan. Hello to you. Nimetullah says, please, can you read my name, Mr. Duncan? Well, Nimetullah Edabali. Hello to you. Antonio. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Here is Antonio watching in Brazil. Hello to Brazil. And as you know, Mr. Steve is a very big fan of your country. Mr. Duncan, congratulations on the studio. Yes, everything is going quite well now. Things are taking shape. Do you know a book called Animal Farm? Yes, I do. It was written by the same man who wrote 1984, George Orwell. Florian, hello from Austria. Olga is here. Thanks, Olga. Thank you very much for saying hello as well. Lagel is here. Wow, so many people are joining me today. Thank you very much. It is so nice to see so many people spending their Sunday afternoon right here with me live on YouTube. Julio is here. Hello, Julio, watching in Brazil. Abu Omar is here. Lequang Truk is here, watching in Vietnam. Also, Aya is here. Hello, Aya. You know, in Chinese, when Chinese people get annoyed, they always say, Aya, Aya. Pedro. Hello, Pedro. Pedro Belmont is here. Yes, nice, Pedro, to see you again. Animal Farm is a very good book. It's also very horrific as well. Some horrific things happen in that book, in that story. Hussein says, congratulations for the new computer. The quality is better. Yes, I'm glad to see that you are enjoying the new quality. Yes. I have put a lot of work, a lot of effort, and quite a lot of my money and also your money into doing this. What is that rabbit on your desk? Oh, Maria. Well spotted. Maria has spotted something on my desk. Yes, can you see it? Can you see it over there? A little bunny rabbit. Now, I love that sound. It's a little bell. So yes, there is the rabbit, a little rabbit made of chocolate, because of course Easter is on the way. Many people celebrate Easter around the world. I always get very excited at Easter because it means that we can eat lots of chocolate. There it is, a little chocolate bunny rabbit, and it's also gold as well. Isn't it lovely? If only this was made of actual gold. Wouldn't that be nice? I think so. And of course we have some little lambs here. Can you see the lambs? We have some lambs as well, because here in England the lambing season has just started. So already there are some newborn lambs running around in the freezing cold. Whew, that's a bit of a shock, isn't it? There you are. You pop out your mother. You pop out. You flop on the ground. and the first thing you feel is snow. It's not a very good welcome to the world, is it? No, it isn't. So there we go, some lovely little animals there, some lovely little creatures. There is the little lamb. Bear, bear, bear. Sorry, my animal impressions aren't very good. We're going into the kitchen soon. Would you like to join me in the kitchen? Because we are going to cook something. Yes, after last week, a lot of people have asked, could you please do some more cooking in the kitchen? So we will be doing that very soon. Yes, the snow is on the ground at the moment. Now, you know what a lot of people mention when it snows? They always say that you should be careful. You should beware. You should be very, very cautious when you are around yellow snow. Have you ever heard of yellow snow? Yellow snow. Let's have a look at some yellow snow now, shall we? Here it is. So for those who are wondering what yellow snow is, it is actually this. Can you see it? Of course, it's when the dog decides to do a little pee-pee. So when the dog has a little pee on the ground, on the snowy surface, it normally leaves a yellow mark. So that's why we always tell people not to eat the yellow snow. Although, why would you eat snow anyway? Why would you actually eat snow in the first place? I have no idea. And of course, this time of year is a difficult time for all of those little animals. Yes, the birds were having a very difficult time this week. There you can see, I think that's a great tit, and also some long-tailed tits as well. Oh, they're so cute. I love long-tailed tits. They are so cute and lovely. So there it was. That is an actual shot from my garden this week, with some of the birds in the garden feeding from the peanut feeder. And of course, at this time of the year, especially when it gets very cold, many birds will sadly die. They will perish. I don't like that word, perish. The word perish means to die. So if something perishes, if it perishes, quite often we can refer to something that has gone bad, like food. We can say that the food has perished. Or if a person perishes or an animal perishes, it means that it has died. Oh, look at that. Now there is the view yesterday on my snowy walk, and can you see there is not a single car on the road. The road was deserted. It was empty. Oh my goodness, look how empty the road is. It was so quiet yesterday. It would appear that many people yesterday decided to stay at home, but yesterday I went out for a lovely snowy walk with Mr. Steve. And also, you know what it's like. You know what happens whenever it snows. There is always one thing that you want to do. There is always one thing that you have to do on a snowy day. When the snow is on the ground, there is only one thing that you can do. Dib dib. How are you today? I've got a cup of coffee here, but I think it's almost gone cold. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for my coffee. Isn't that lovely? So I've got a cup of coffee here. It's still slightly hot. I'm just going to have a drink of coffee. I hope you don't mind. Oh, delicious. Now, normally I have a lot of sugar in my tea, but when I have coffee, I only have a little bit of sugar. I don't know why, but I always find that very sweet coffee doesn't taste very good. So I only have a little bit of sugar in my coffee, whereas when I have my tea, I put too much sugar in the tea. Did you enjoy my snow angel? Wasn't it lovely, my little snow angel? I did that yesterday in the garden. So Mr. Steve today will be here, and of course he will be here live. I hope you are enjoying today's live English stream. Coming up at 3 o'clock. Of course, you know what's coming up at 3 o'clock. You don't need me to tell you. At 3 today, it's Mr. Steve. It sure is. Mr. Steve will see you today at 3. I can't wait. So Mr. Steve will be here at 3 o'clock. Many people now tune in just to watch Mr. Steve. They don't want to see me. They say, Mr. Duncan, we don't want to watch you. We want to watch Mr. Steve. He's more entertaining. It's not very nice, is it? So let's go into the kitchen, shall we? After we have been in the kitchen, I will reveal today's mystery idioms. But now we are going to have something delicious to eat. Are you feeling hungry? Are you? I hope so. Oh, hello there. Welcome to Mr. Duncan's kitchen once more for another tasty snack. And guess what we are having tonight? Mr. Steve and myself, we are going to enjoy a lovely pizza, but not a homemade pizza. I will confess that the pizza we are about to eat has been bought from the shops. In fact, it is a frozen pizza. So if there are any people out there who are very keen on making their own pizzas, I do apologize. But that's what we're doing tonight. We're having pizza and also some baked beans. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Mr. Duncan, you always have baked beans. Do you live on baked beans? You seem to have baked beans all the time. Do you fart a lot? How dare you? So here we go then. Let's get on with the meal. First of all, we need to put some beans into the saucepan. So that's what we're doing first. We have our tin of beans. There we go. A lovely tin of baked beans. Now, these aren't the expensive baked beans. These are the cheap baked beans. Because between you and me, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I always find that the very cheap baked beans taste just as good as the very expensive baked beans. I'm sure you know which brand I'm talking about. Yes, that one. 57 varieties. So I always buy the very cheap baked beans. These are very cheap, and you can buy these in multi-packs. So not just one, you get a packet with four tins of beans, and they are very good value indeed. Can you see what I've got here as well? This is the thing that I'm going to use to stir. I will stir the beans with this. This is called a spatula. That's a very strange word. Spatula. So there it is. There is my spatula. spatula. It looks like something for beating someone, maybe across the head or the bottom, but it isn't. It is a spatula. So first of all, I will open the tin of beans, and I don't like opening tins of beans, especially nowadays, because they have this annoying ring pull. Can you see there? A ring pull. So you have to get your finger underneath the ring to open the can. And I always think that these are quite dangerous, because after you open the tin, the edge of the lid is very sharp. And in the past, I have actually cut my fingers. I've cut my fingers in the past with one of these. So let's open the tin of beans. First of all, I don't like doing this, to be honest. I am not a fan of opening these. Okay. Now I will try not to cut my fingers. Just pull the ring. It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah! That's it. I think we've got it. There it is. Look at that. It's like some sort of weapon. Look at that. It looks very lethal. So now I will pour the beans into the saucepan. Excuse me. Putting the beans in the saucepan. Come on. In you get. Get in. I love these beans because they are so thick. Look, you get so many beans in the can. Look how many beans you get. I think that is very good value. So there isn't much sauce, but you do get lots of beans. So look at that. Now I will gently, and I repeat, gently heat the beans up. You should never boil the beans. Never let them boil, because it will spoil the taste. So I will put the beans on a low light, and then they will gently heat up. And now we have to sort out the star of the show, which is of course the pizza. Pizzas are lovely. Do you like pizzas? I am crazy about pizzas. I do like the ones that have lots of different types of meat on, but Mr. Steve isn't very keen on those. So there it is. You may have seen Mr. Steve and myself walking home the other week with this pizza. So we had this pizza the other week. We bought it from the local supermarket, and it's been in the deep freeze for quite a long time. So there it is, our super duper 4-cheese pizza. It's making me hungry just thinking about it. So before I put this in the oven, I have to put something on this baking tray. So there it is, a baking tray. You normally put things on this when you want to bake something in the oven. If you want to heat something up and you want it to heat evenly, you normally use a baking tray. So on the bottom of the baking tray, I'm going to put some foil. And this particular foil is made from, can you see it? It's made from aluminium. In American English, they pronounce this word aluminum. But in British English, we say aluminium. And there it is, aluminium. So I will put some aluminium foil on the baking tray. I didn't make a very good job of that. So, we have the baking tray. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? It's very shiny. You can see the light reflecting off the foil onto my face. Now, just to make sure that the pizza doesn't stick, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on the foil. I'm putting olive oil on the foil, so when the pizza starts to boil, it won't spoil. Just a little bit of oil, that's all you need. Just a little oil. Now, because this particular pizza is pre-prepared and frozen, it will take about 20 minutes to cook in the oven. So the oven has to be very hot for the pizza to bake. So when you put the pizza in the oven, the cheese has to melt and the base of the pizza has to bake. And normally it takes around about 20 minutes. But it's very important to make sure that the oven is very hot, and you always bake the pizza at the top of the oven. At the top. Always put the pizza at the top of the oven. So let's open the pizza. Ooh, look at that. Doesn't that look lovely? Look at that. Oh, it's pizza time, baby. So, I will take the plastic off the pizza. It's very important that you remember to take the plastic off. You must remove the plastic, or else you might have a very chewy pizza. The plastic is very firm, it's very difficult to cut. I will use some scissors. Do 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 do. That's lovely. So there it is, there is the pizza ready to go in the oven. You have cheese on top, you have a selection of cheese. There is also some tomato puree, and inside the crust there is also some tomato sauce as well, some spicy tomato sauce. So now I will put this in the oven. There. I just put it on the tray and then put the tray and the pizza in the oven. So, the pizza is now baking, the cheese will melt and the base will start to bake. It will take about 20 minutes. I will bake this for 10 minutes and then I will turn the pizza around to make sure that it is cooked evenly on both sides. The beans are now heating up slowly and I am going to put... Ooh, can you guess what this is? It smells very strong, and if you eat this, normally your breath will smell quite bad. Yes, of course, it is our old friend garlic. Hello garlic, how are you today? Garlic, I love garlic so much. I think it's probably because my ancestors were French. It's true. So on my father's side, I'm actually of French descent. Did you know that? You didn't? Ooh. So we will put a little bit of garlic in the beans. Actually, I put quite a lot in then. Did you see that? It is a good job that Mr. Steve also likes garlic. It's a very good job indeed. So I will throw this away for recycling. There it goes. So the baked beans are now heating slowly, very gently. You mustn't boil the beans. And then after 10 minutes, I will turn the pizza around. I will rotate it to make sure that it cooks evenly on both ends. There's nothing worse than a soggy pizza. Do you hate that? Do you hate it when the pizza is all very soggy and wet? And that means it hasn't been cooked evenly. So now we will wait for 10 minutes and then I will turn the pizza round. I'm giving the beans a little stir so the garlic will mix into the beans and then we will have a beautiful, delicious flavour. And of course, you know what Mr. Steve likes to do. He likes to put garam masala into the beans as well. Unfortunately, I don't like garam masala all that much. I don't like it in baked beans. So Mr. Steve always puts his spices on afterwards because I don't like them. Okay, mesdames and messieurs, we will now take the pizza out of the oven and turn it round. Oh yes, look at that, it's coming along rather nicely. So on one end it's going brown and on the other it isn't. So I'm turning the pizza around to make sure that it browns all the way around. The best pizza is a hot pizza, and of course it has to be cooked just right. Would you like a piece of my pizza? If you would like a piece of my pizza, all you have to do is answer this question. Where was the first pizza made? And I will post a slice of pizza to you. What's that? No, that's not a good idea. Apparently, according to someone over there, who is completely invisible, you are not allowed to post pizzas through the mail. But anyway, the question still stands. Where was the first ever pizza made? If you think you know the answer, let me know on today's live stream. So I think now the pizza is ready. So, wait there. I need my tea towel because the baking tray will now be very hot. So here we go. It's time to take the pizza out the oven. Oh, wow, look at that. Now that is a perfect pizza. I think I made a really good job of that pizza, even though it is a pre-prepared one. I'm sure lots of people will complain. They will say, Mr. Duncan, how could you buy a pizza from the supermarket? You should make one yourself from scratch. That's a great expression. If you do something from scratch, it means you do it from the very beginning. So, let's serve the pizza, shall we? So the beans are nice and hot now. I am going to use the sharp edge to cut the pizza in half. So here we go. Mr. Steve always likes to have a smaller piece. So I have a large piece and Mr. Steve has a small piece. So here we go. Let's cut the pizza in half, shall we? Hopefully I won't burn my hands, because normally I tend to burn my hands when I'm doing this, so I will try not to do it today. So there you go. The pizza is now ready. I will put the pizza and the beans into the oven for 10 minutes and then I will serve them to Mr. Steve. That is mine. And that one is Mr. Steve's. And there it is, another meal ready to be served and eaten. I will now return you back to the studio where we will continue with today's Sunday Live English. We are live, right across the World Wide Webosphere. Oh, hello there, it's Mr. Duncan in England on a Sunday afternoon, here in the UK, live from my little studio in Much Wenlock. As you can see, we are coming up to 10 minutes away from 3 o'clock. Of course, something very special happens at 3. I hope you are enjoying today's live English stream. Coming up at 3 o'clock, of course, you know what's coming up at 3 o'clock. You don't need me to tell you. At 3 today, it's Mr. Steve. It sure is. Mr. Steve will see you today at 3. There I was yesterday, playing out in the snow, making my very own snow angel. Did you enjoy that? Do you like playing in the snow? Some people never see the snow. Some people have never seen the snow ever. Would you like to see some snow? Here is the snow falling this week. There it is. And that was taken from my window this week as the snow came down. Yes, it was the beast from the east. Now, I mentioned earlier that this bad weather came from Siberia. One or two people have said, Mr. Duncan, that's impossible. But it is true. Now, apparently what happened is that there is a large jet stream that was flowing across Siberia, and it was very warm. And what it's actually done, it's actually pushed all of the cold air down towards Europe. And of course, not just the UK, but also many other parts of Europe were affected as well. So yes, it definitely was Siberian weather that we picked up this week. Fortunately, it's on its way out now. We've had rain this morning, so the snow is starting to melt. Thank goodness. Did you enjoy the pizza? Oh, let me just tell you now. That pizza was absolutely delicious. And I did notice on the live chat, a lot of people were saying, we haven't ever tried pizza with baked beans. We've never had it before. So maybe next time you have a pizza, you could try it with baked beans. And another tip is you can put some garlic in the baked beans. Oh, trust me, it will taste absolutely delicious. The live chat is very busy. Abdo, we don't have snow in our city. Whatever? Ever? You never ever have snow. Roman gladiators had to eat beans. Apparently it makes people stronger and more aggressive. Thanks for that. The weather in France is similar to that in the UK. Thank you, the French Leo, for that. Eugene says that hat of Mr. Steve's makes him look similar to Harry Potter because of the Thunderbolt sign on his forehead. May is here. Thank you, May. Guten Appetit. Have a good appetite. Yes, I always have a good appetite. Tarek says, I would love to have some of that pizza. I would love to have some of that pizza. Abdo says, no, but it was not that much for me. Oh, are you on about the snow? I think you are. Hello, Mr. Duncan. I received no notification for the live stream. Really? Well, I did put something on my channel. I did notify everyone. But this is, of course, this is a big problem that I'm having at the moment with YouTube. They are not letting my subscribers know when I am live. Your cheese pizza is very rich, Mr. Duncan. Take care of your figure. Don't get fat, Mr. Duncan. Thank you, Nicole, for that. Yuma is here. Hello, Yuma. Where are you watching at the moment? Vina says, it never snows where I live. Well, can I just say one thing? The snow is very nice. Don't get me wrong. The snow is very nice. It's very enjoyable. But sometimes it can be a real pain in the neck. But for a lot of the time, it can be actually quite nice. Dear me. Did you see Mr. Steve fall over then? He fell flat on his face. Oh dear me. Oh, poor Mr. Steve. Yes, Steve will be here in around about 5 minutes time, right here on Live English for a Sunday. For those who are wondering when I am on, here are the dates. Can you see them? Of course I am here today, also next week. In fact, every Sunday I am here. But don't forget also, here it is, a news flash. I am also here every Wednesday late and live from 10 p.m. UK time. And on Sunday I am here every Sunday 2 p.m. UK time. So on Sunday 2 p.m. UK time, and on Wednesday 10 p.m. UK time. Of course, sometimes I will also do spontaneous live streams as well, surprise live streams, like the other day when I decided to do a live stream outside in the cold weather as the beast from the east was battering the UK. Yes, it was amazing. Would you like to see some more? Would you like to see some more of that? Okay, then here is a bit more. This is the garden again. So this is taken in the garden as the snow was falling. The wind was blowing and it was quite cold. In fact, it was freezing. And yes, it was very difficult to get out of the house. We had a lot of snow fall over 48 hours. Many people enjoyed my live stream outside. 1 or 2 people complained. They were saying, Mr. Duncan, that's not much snow. Why are you complaining about the snow, you mother's boy? Quite a few people, most of them here in the UK, complained about that particular live stream. They said that I was exaggerating about the bad weather, but it was terrible. It was so windy and cold, and the snow was blowing in my face. It was an actual blizzard. Blizzard. I love that. I love that word so much. It was a whoosh, blizzard. The snow was blowing across the ground. And yes, the snow was quite deep in some places. Did you see Mr. Steve fall over? He fell flat on his face. Talking of Mr. Steve, he will be here in a few moments. Quite a few people want to see the snow angel again. It would appear that the snow angel is very popular. Of course, today we are talking about something else as well. We have the Oscars taking place tonight. The Oscars. There it is. The Oscars. Apparently, I have to say it like that because if I use the proper word, I will be fined for copyright. So apparently you are not allowed to use the real word unless you have been approved. So tonight, it's the Oscars. I'm sure you know what I mean by that. Live from Hollywood. The Oscars. Oh dear me, I love doing this. I hope you're okay on this Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning or of course Sunday night, or maybe perhaps it's tomorrow where you are. It might be. Coming up to 3 o'clock, the live chat is very busy. Let's have one last look for this hour. Mr. Steve falling over made me laugh, and your snow angel, you always make me laugh. I love you always being so funny and being in such a good mood. I'm always in a good mood because life is there to be enjoyed. That's what I say anyway. The Shape of Water apparently is the best picture winner. So Herolind is making a prediction that The Shape of Water, a movie all about a lady that falls in love with a sea creature, I'm not making that up by the way, will win the best Oscar. So which film do you think will win the best Oscar? Morning from Mexico. Hello from Mexico, Nadia. Thank you, Nadia, for saying that. Nicole. No, I'm sorry, Nicole. I can't say the word. I'm not allowed to. They won't let me. Apparently, if they hear me say it, they will sue me. So I have to say Oscars. So the Oscars are taking place tonight. Mr. Steve will be talking all about them in a moment. I don't quite know how we are going to manage not being sued, because Mr. Steve is going to be talking a lot about the Oscars and lots of words connected with that particular event. Talking of Mr. Steve, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Mr. Steve is here right now because it's 3 o'clock. Doop-a-doop-doop-doop-a-doop-doo. Oh yes, did you hear me then rushing around? Ah, dear me. So here we go. It is a Sunday afternoon, and look, we are getting really cool and sophisticated. Yes, here he is, the man who needs no introduction, so he won't get one. It's Mr. Steve, looking very cool and sophisticated. Hey, baby.
Hi.
Hi there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Duncan. It's the star of show and stage, Mr. Steve.
What is that? Is that an American accent?
I don't know. I shall refer to my... A bit of fun when we start, Mr. Duncan. I didn't know I was on there and I couldn't see myself on the screen, but I can now. Shall I leave this up like this all for the whole hour?
You look great.
Well, I've been on the catwalk, on the red carpet. I've been nominated for an award.
Really?
Mm.
Is this breaking news?
No, I'm joking. I only perform on the amateur dramatic stage. I'm not a professional performer. I've never been paid to perform. Well, not acting anyway.
Put your glasses back on.
There we go.
That's it. Yeah, we look like the Blues Brothers.
You know, these are genuine Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Really?
They are, but I didn't buy them. I bought them. I won them in a raffle contest. Yes. I've never worn them because I think I look stupid in them. But what do your viewers think? Should I wear these? Do they suit me? Yes or no?
I think
I
you
want
look
a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
I think you look really cool there today, Mr. Steve. Really cool.
Let's come back down to earth, shall we? Come back down to earth.
So we had a lot of snow this week.
Again. Yes.
Can you believe it?
No, I can't actually, although if the forecast was to be believed, then yes. And we didn't get as much as we thought, because some parts of the UK got it a lot worse than we did.
Yes.
But we still had about maybe 3 or 4 inches.
Especially up north.
Especially up north and down south. But we didn't have as much as we had last time. But nevertheless, it drifted in places up to about 8 foot deep. And some of the roads were blocked. But here we go, British people. As soon as we get a flake of snow, we start talking about it. In fact, do you know what really annoyed me this week?
What?
Mr. Duncan.
What's that?
Was the news, the BBC News, who on the top of every hour gave 15 or 20 minutes to talking about the snow as if it was the most important thing happening in the entire world. Literally 15 or 20 minutes. They had reporters, about 5 or 6 reporters in various locations saying, oh, how much snow have you had here, or how bad is it there? It went on and on and on. And it was, I thought it was a rather over the top. Well, what do you think, Mr. Duncan?
Well, I suppose it's important to some people, especially if you've been affected by the weather. So if you've been affected by the bad weather, then it is important.
Yes, but the BBC News, a world-renowned organisation, spending 15 or 20 minutes on snow. And let's face it, there weren't that many implications of it. Yes, a few people died, which is tragic, of course. But, I mean, how many people die on the roads every day? Probably a lot more.
Many.
Yes, it caused disruption, but then a lot of people who were disrupted went out on the roads against the advice. We were all warned, don't go out, it's dangerous. And something like 2,500 people were trapped in their cars overnight for 8 or 10 hours on a motorway, and they were told not to go out. So it's their own fault.
You know, my favourite story, Steve, my favourite story of the whole event must be when there were some people stuck on the motorway, and there was a large lorry containing lots of food from a well-known bakery.
Right.
And the driver of the lorry opened the back of the actual vehicle, opened it up, and gave some of the stuff that was in the back of the lorry to the people stuck.
Sandwiches, cakes, things like that. Yeah, that's a lovely gesture.
Yeah, I think so.
To give, but really, apart from sort of lorry drivers and people needing to really get to their jobs, I can't believe 2,500 people really needed to go out on that particular evening on that motorway. You know, maybe 20 or 30 really needed to go. The others probably just wanted to see if they could get through, because let's face it, it is quite exciting, and I can understand that when you've got lots of snow or harsh weather conditions, particularly snow, because we don't get it very often here. You want to see if you can just battle your way through and get to work and say, yes, oh, I made it, look, I got through the storm, what's wrong with you lot, I'm better than you. It's that kind of attitude, isn't it? But of course, if you haven't got the right tyres on your car, you're not going to go anywhere when it's snowy.
Well, that is one of your favourite subjects, yes, isn't it?
It is. There we go. We've got off with a moan, and I don't like to moan really. Well, yes, I do. I love to moan actually. So let's.
You don't like to moan.
Well, I do like to. I do. Yes.
Look, if there is an Olympic sport for moaning, I think you would definitely win.
I would. I think correct.
I think so, definitely. So we have a lot of things to talk about today. We have, of course, something special happening tonight. There is the Oscars. There, I've said it.
Oh, you said it.
Are
we going to get cut off at any second?
We might not get cut off, but we might be sued, because live from Hollywood tonight, it's the Oscars.
Every year we have this. It's the 90th year, isn't it? The 90th. It's the 90th.
The 90th year.
The 90th time the Oscars have been, or the Academy Awards, as they're also known as, or used to be known as, are presented. Yeah. So if you're interested in films and actors and actresses, then and directors and all the other nominations, all the other categories that they make awards in, then yes, sit down for, how long is it on for? 4 hours probably.
It's a very long program. Yes, it's very long. Yes, I think it's about 2 hours.
So if you've got nothing else to do tonight, then you can sit down and watch that, assuming that you're in the right time zone, that is. Otherwise you might be in bed and have to get up to watch it. So you've got to be really interested in films. They go on and on about it. I'm moaning again. They go on and on about the Oscars as though it's the most important thing in the world. But I suppose it's a distraction away from the horrors that are going on in the world. I think that's what it is, really. It's a distraction away from reality.
Well, you know what? But the problem is now, have you noticed that all of these award ceremonies, they've just become all political now?
That's true.
So tonight, all we're going to have is people being very political, getting their point of view across. What happened to entertainment? Entertainment used to be so much fun. Everyone would have a good time. They would have fun on screen, and people would go to see all of these wonderful movies, and everyone would go, oh, isn't entertainment wonderful? It helps us to forget about all of the terrible things in life. But now it would appear that every time we have one of these award ceremonies, everyone is complaining and moaning and whinging and going on about this and that. Oh dear, I really do. I want to go back to the 70s and 80s when we just went to see movies at the cinema and that was it, and we just enjoyed them for what they were. But nowadays it's all, oh dear.
Political points. Anyway, we're moaning a bit.
I'm moaning now.
I started it.
Yes.
I think we can still go and watch a film. We were on about Blade Runner last week, weren't we?
We were, yes.
A film. I don't think that's got any nominations, has it?
I don't think so, no. They rarely give Oscars to anything to do with science fiction.
That is correct.
Science fiction movies and also horror films. They rarely get Oscars.
Did Avatar, that's not science, I suppose it's sort of science fiction.
Well, Avatar is a science fiction film, yes.
Did that get an award or a nomination?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it did pick something up. Of course, many years ago, Star Wars picked up a couple of the original Star Wars way back in the late 70s, picked up an Oscar nomination and a couple of awards as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I wondered how long it would take you to mention Star Wars. Not long.
I don't mention it so much.
Are we 10 minutes in?
I don't mention it so much these days for various reasons.
Star Wars,
for various reasons. I used to like Star Wars, not anymore.
No, the original 3.
What are you looking at over your shoulder?
I was looking at the clock.
Oh, I see. Don't worry about the clock. The clock will take care of itself.
I just wanted to look at it. It's there. And I just wanted to look.
Everyone wants to look at your shirt.
Do they?
Yeah.
This one, I've worn this before.
Yes, it's one of your more popular shirts, and I think the sunglasses really do set the whole thing off.
Let me give you another demo.
Very nice.
Oh no, you're supposed to take them off like this, aren't you?
Okay, I believe we have some things connected to the event that's taking place tonight. Tell us all about it, Steve.
Yes, so sorry if you're not interested in the Oscars, but what I'm going to do, hopefully, and Mr. Duncan is going to help me, is I've done an A to Z. So I've gone through every letter of the alphabet. If you say you're doing an A to Z, it means you take the A, B, C, D, etc., and then relate it to whatever that subject is. So we're talking about the Oscars. So I've got a word that relates to the Oscars for every letter of the alphabet. This is going to be a long haul. This is going to take even longer than the Oscars to go through.
I think so.
But they're words that we can comment on and talk about, and phrases surrounding there. So let me lean over here. That can't have looked very professional.
That wasn't very professional, no.
So, A. What is A for? What does A stand for? I'm sure we will get suggestions.
As we do our A to Z, so we're going through each letter of the alphabet. So A is for Academy.
Ooh. There we go. Academy. So the Academy we're talking about with the Oscars, to give it its full name, is the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. That's what it was originally called back, 90 years ago, if anyone can work that out, 1930-something, 20-something. So it was shortened to the Oscars in 1980-something. Somebody decided to shorten it to the Oscars. So that's the Academy we're talking about, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science. But what is an academy? Well, it's an institution of learning, a place of study or training in a special field. Or these days it's often used to denote a school which is above the levels of other schools. So in this country now, instead of just having a secondary school, we've now got academies, and they are special schools, and they're better in some way and have achieved standards higher than an average school. So we're calling those academies now. So
of course, some people say that those types of schools are very elitist.
Yes,
so
that's right.
they're only there for those who are maybe wealthy, or they come from a certain background or a certain ethnicity, dare I say. So they are often seen as being for people who are, I really hate to use this word, but privileged.
Well, possibly, yes. And of course, what the government has done, I think the Labour government started this a number of years ago, in order to try and improve the standards of schools. They allowed schools to become or achieve academy status, which means that they're better than the other schools in the area that haven't got this status, and that means that that's going to attract pupils, and parents wanted to send their children to that school because it's got a good reputation for teaching in particular subjects or all subjects, and of course, but that's created problems because teachers want, parents want to actually go to a particular school. You've got to live in a geographical area, so that raises house prices in some areas.
Yeah,
as well.
you've got to live in a particular area near one of these good schools.
That's it. So if you, and quite often parents will move into the catchment area of that school, so just so that they can send their children to that school, and that has the side effect or knock-on effect of raising the prices of houses in that particular area, and it is a problem in some parts of the country, believe it or not. So so that's academy, but the other, there's a slightly other different meaning to that as well. Academy can be a society or institution of distinguished scholars or artists or scientists that aim to maintain standards in a particular field.
Very good.
So, for example, you have the Royal Academy of Arts, and this is what the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences are trying to do. It's an institution trying to maintain or raise standards in the film industry. So that's what that gives it its precise definition.
Of course, it's quite strange. I just mentioned organisations or schools that are for certain people, and of course, over the years, the Oscars themselves have been seen as a little elitist as well. But that has actually changed. Anyway,
it could also stand for, the A could stand for all night, because it's on such a long time,
yes,
for 2 hours.
It feels like
spend all night, if you've got nothing else to do, watching that. So that's A. Shall we go to B?
Let's go to B, shall we?
Are we getting any suggestions for
let's go to B, because it's gonna take us. We're gonna be here longer than the Oscars.
That's what I said before. B is for best.
Oh, okay.
B is for best.
These aren't the hardest words in the world.
They get more interesting as we go down, so bear with us.
I really hope they get more interesting.
Best. I know, but look, I've got interesting things here. The best is, of course, the most excellent, desirable, the top in quality. The top, the leading, the first. Best picture. We're going to get best picture. We're going to get best actor, etc. And you can use it in all sorts of phrases. The food she liked best. Buy the best you can afford. But it also means to outwit or get the better of somebody.
Oh, I see.
To best someone.
So to best can be like an action.
Yes, it can be an action, exactly. So it can mean to outwit or get the better of. Oh, she bested him. That's sort of used in sort of, would you say, what sort of language? Urban sort of language.
Well,
maybe.
Also yes, any competitive situation where one person is trying to get the best or better,
yes,
or to win, or to outdo someone.
Outdo someone.
Yes.
And so, you say you've bested them.
Yes, best. You best someone. So it can be used as a verb.
Exactly. I'm not
Very
sure
good.
whether that's in the Oxford English Dictionary.
I think you'll find it is, or it might be. It might be somewhere on the internet. Maybe.
So you see, you thought it was going to be simple, but I've come up with something different there.
Yes. Anyway, let's get to C very quickly. I can
C.
think of now what word beginning with C we could use to describe people in show business. Yes. Can you think of any, Steve?
Charlatan? No.
Charlatan?
No. That's somebody who isn't as they seem.
I was going to say conceited.
Conceited?
Yes.
Well, maybe, yes,
Conceited. Ah, I don't know what you thought I was going to say out there.
maybe. Well, I've got challenge. Challenge.
Oh, okay.
Right. Something is a challenge. It's difficult or demanding. It's a difficult or demanding task. So it'll be challenging to stay awake through 2 hours of watching the Oscars, or 2 hours of watching us today.
That's always challenging.
Ah, right, yes. It can also be a call to someone to participate in a competitive... See, I'm using the word challenge in different ways. It sounds obvious, challenge, we all know what that is, but I'm just showing different ways that you can use it. So it can be a call to someone to participate in a competitive situation. I challenge you to a fight.
Gosh.
For example, you can say that to someone. Or if it's a game of golf, right, I challenge you to a game of golf. You say you're good at that, I'll challenge you to it, and I'll beat you. So that's how you can use the word challenge there.
Can a challenge also be a difficulty or something that's been put in front of you that you've got to overcome?
Yes, yes, that's right. That was the first one. It's a challenge, a difficult or demanding task. But also you can challenge someone to compete with you in some way.
That's it, yeah. We often refer to people with physical disabilities as well as being challenged.
Yes, physically challenged.
You might have a physical disability. We can say that you are challenged.
You know what's coming next?
No?
I thought you were going to say, oh, Mr. Steve, are you mentally challenged?
Why would I say that?
I don't know, but I thought you were going to say that, which is why I got in first with that one.
But you said it.
Because I thought you were going to, so I was going to diffuse the situation there.
But I didn't say it.
You didn't. Okay, so it's also a call to justify something. So you can, for example, challenge the legality of something. So if your neighbour, for example, trees were growing all over your garden, they wouldn't cut them down, you might challenge them legally in some way. Or if you thought they said something that wasn't correct, you can challenge somebody in law, can't you?
It's a bit like a confrontation.
That's right. Challenge to the legality of something. There we go. I think that's it. I think we've said enough about challenge.
D.
D is for, and I've got notes all over the place here.
Well, we can see already what D is for.
Can you? Director. There we go.
That's high definition, you see.
Director. Nothing's hidden here.
You can't hide anything when you have...
That's a simple one. It's obviously a person in charge of an activity, department or organisation. A company director, sales director, marketing director, financial director, or obviously related to the Oscars, it's film director. The person that's in charge of the whole production.
Apparently, according to Jamelia, to best someone is in the Oxford Dictionary.
Oh,
so there it is.
Good. At least they recognise that. So, what about E?
E, yes.
In the entertainment world,
I'm not saying anything.
What are you thinking of?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, moving on. In the entertainment world, you get a lot of these. Eccentric people.
Yes. There are one or two eccentric people here right now.
Yes, eccentric. To define that, it's somebody who is unconventional in appearance or behaviour. You may say, you know what's coming. You know what's coming.
Come on.
You may say that Mr. Duncan is eccentric because he wears a hat all the time. See, that would be an example of eccentric behaviour. Believe me, he does wear a hat all the time. He never takes it off.
You're my favourite sheep, you are. You're my most favourite sheep in the whole...
Eccentric behaviour. If you had mad hair, like a mad professor, hair all sticking out all over the place, something that's not what you would call defined as average behaviour or average appearance, you would say was eccentric behaviour. So that's that's an interesting word, but it also means something that's off-centre. So it's not just talking about behaviour. It also means something that is off-centre, not circular. For example, you could describe the orbits of certain planets around the sun as eccentric because they don't go in a circle. They go in more of an elliptical shape. So eccentric doesn't just mean people; it means other things as well.
To go off course.
To go off course, yes. It just means not to go in a circle, really. Yeah. Eccentric, it's off-centre.
It's a little bit more bent than it normally is.
Which, of course, is related to the fact that you describe someone as eccentric, because if you looked at a circle, you said that the circle is perfect. Anything that goes outside that is slightly abnormal or different. So that's describing an eccentric person.
I see.
And I think... So there are lots of eccentric people in Hollywood.
I think so.
The world of acting.
There are some very, very eccentric people with strange behaviour traits.
That's right.
Things that they do. Some of these things may be seen as being quite illegal.
Illegal, yes. Yeah, exactly. Any behaviour which is different than the norm, different than what most people are doing, is eccentric behaviour. Or if you dress in a strange way, losing my voice already, then it's eccentric.
So, of course, I mean, I always say that no one is really normal because there is no such thing as normal. Normal is always subjective. So one person's normal is another person's weird.
But you get some people, though, don't you, who really are very different and stand out as being... Yeah, I mean, you can get most eccentricities would be fairly benign or fairly innocent,
harmless,
and harmless is the word I'm grappling for.
Yes,
but that's what you would normally describe when you talk about an eccentric person. They're normally harmless. But they do something different. They dress in a strange manner, or their hair is wild, or I mean, it used to be if you had a beard you were eccentric, but now these days beards are fairly in. Or there's a good example. People don't wear bow ties anymore, do they? Very rarely.
Did they ever?
Apart from if you're on a stage, but they did. So. If you go out now with a suit on and wear a bow tie, that would be very unusual, and people would say you were slightly eccentric.
Do you know what I want to do, Steve? I want to go into town next Saturday. I want to walk around town. I want to walk around in a cape. A cape. If you wore a cape, unusual clothing, people would describe you as eccentric. Yes, I think a cape would be lovely. You just drape the cape over your shoulder and you walk along the road and you go, hello, I'm Cape Man. I have a cape. That means I'm very eccentric. Do you know what I think? I think maybe in 5 or 6 years from now, I think the cape will probably be the biggest, hottest fashion item there is. Everyone will be walking around wearing capes. It could well be. It could happen. It could. Anything's possible, which leads very nicely into F. Oh dear. There are quite a few candidates for that letter. But in the world of film, it's only got to be one, and that's fashion. You know what I was going to say? Fake. Fake. Oh no, I went for fashion. Okay. Fashion. Obviously, there's a lot of fashion on display. What is fashion? It's a style of dress or customs, and of course, you will see lots of designers displaying their creativity in dressing the stars in their latest creations, or as they now become known as fashions. Fashions. So yes, it's popular. There's popular fashion. You can say he or she is a fashionable person because they wear up-to-date clothes, or they speak in a fashionable way, or they act in a fashionable way. And of course, you can say somebody is old-fashioned or out of fashion if they are, for example, well, quite often you would say that people of a certain age are old-fashioned because they haven't changed the way they do things. Maybe you and I, when we were in our 20s, were fashionable. We wore the latest clothes, but now we don't bother about that, so people might describe us as old-fashioned. Obviously not today. Well, how can I be described as
old-fashioned today.
Yes, well, look at me as well. I'm also looking very fashionable today. Let me just put my sunglasses on. Yes, there you go, you see. I look so fashionable. Look at that. Very cool, very trendy.
See, that's eccentric, wearing sunglasses over the top of normal glasses, because most people would be afraid of how they looked. And I think with eccentric people, going back to E again, eccentric people aren't worried about what people think about them. They're either not worried or they're not aware. And I think most of the time they're not worried. So in fact, they're not conforming, and I hail eccentrics because they are the people that do what they want to do. They don't conform to what society's rules tell them that they should be doing. And they might be abused verbally for it, but they get on with it anyway. So hail the eccentric is what I say. But anyway, we're on to F.
That might be a phrase that's never been used in the history of humanity. Hail the eccentric.
Well, there we go. I've just invented it.
Yes. Copyright, Mr. Steve.
Right, in fashion, out of fashion, there we go. Wearing a bowler hat would be described as out of fashion.
Remember years ago, even when I was growing up, whenever you saw people in London, there would be a lot of businessmen or people that worked for the banks, and they would all have bowler hats.
Not anymore.
You don't see anyone in a bowler hat. The only two people you ever see in bowler hats are people who are imitating Laurel and Hardy. That's it.
Yes, yes. You can also, just to finish on fashion, you can also, doesn't just describe your clothing, you can work in a particular fashion. It can be used in that way. So you might have a certain way of doing things, and so you work in a particular fashion. So that's another way of using it. Just doesn't always describe your dress.
Another word is mode.
I don't like to work in that particular fashion. Somebody might do a job a similar job to you, but they do it in a different way, and so you might say, well, I don't want to work in that fashion. I do it my way. So that's F. Do you want to go on to G?
Yes, let's just have a quick look at the live chat, because we're ignoring all of the lovely viewers
ignore
today.
Our wonderful viewers.
I hope it's still working, because sometimes the live chat goes off. Let me just make sure. No, it isn't, you see. It's not working. You see, I did the right thing there just to make sure it was working. So we're just getting the live chat back on the screen.
Oh, I saw some lovely comments there.
It should be there. And yes, live chat is on the screen again. Catherine, I'm definitely out of fashion. Perhaps it makes me an eccentric nowadays. I don't know. Well, odd, unusual, weird.
Mode. You see, May there in Germany has used your word mode as an alternative to fashion. I didn't know about that, so that's very good. Catherine says she's out of fashion. Perhaps it makes you eccentric. Well, yes, that's it. Maybe it does, but so what? Just do what you want to do. I think as you get older, you stop worrying about what people think of you.
I always remember the late great Robin Williams saying that we are all born with a little spark of madness, and we should never let it go. No. And I think that's a brilliant expression, a lovely quote, because that's it. We are all a little bit crazy. We all have our strange ways.
Oh, Nicole says, can you not hide your eyes when you put the paper in front of you, Mr. Steve?
It does look a little bit odd. It does look rather odd when you're holding the paper up. It looks like, because you can't see your eyes, you can just see the top of your head.
The reason I do it, Nicole, is because I've got things written on the back. Little notes that I've put on the back, which little prompts or little bits of information that I want to convey.
You're giving the game away.
So I'm giving so that's the reason I hold it up. So if I could hold it up, but I wouldn't be able to look directly at the camera because I'm looking at things on the back. So well, I'll try it for the next one. How about that? Shall I hold it over my mouth instead? How about if I hold it there? Is that better?
That's worse. That looks weird and eccentric.
There we go. I'll hold it there and I'll just look at the note. Gala. What is gala? Can you see that? Yes. It's a festive occasion, a celebration, which obviously is what the Oscars are. They're a celebration of all that's happened in the world of film over the past 12 months.
Gala.
A gala.
A big event.
A big event. You can have a gala dinner, for example, when where I work, once a year, we celebrate the amount of sales, the amount of business that we've generated in the year, and we have a big gala dinner. So everyone from the company will sit down to a meal. It means there's usually some entertainment, someone's making some speeches, and you have a meal at the same time, which is pretty much what the Oscars are. But gala also means a sports gathering. So you can have a swimming gala. So that's a different thing altogether. Not so much a celebration, it's just a sporting event. I don't know whether you have football galas, I've never heard of that. But you certainly have swimming galas. It's an event, but it's a sporting event.
Catherine Foggs says it's actually a big event where people are overdressed. Thank you, Catherine. Yes. Like the Oscars, you see, the Oscars is very glitzy, very showy. Everyone looks very fashionable, very beautiful, very elegant.
Yes, that's the other element of a gala. And you also dress up very smartly. The men will traditionally wear what's called black tie, which is a black bow tie with a white shirt and a black jacket. And yes, of course, with the Oscars, everyone's dressing in a very fashionable way as well. So it's a very glitzy event.
Of course, a lot of people are trying to get attention as well. So that could have been our letter A as well, you see. Attention.
It could have been attention seeker.
I always think that people who want to get into show business, they want to be a film star or an actor on the stage, they are people who really do want attention.
Yes. They've probably got a talent and they're very confident. But yes, I think some people are, maybe not all of them, but maybe some of them are seeking attention because they like to have people say how wonderful they are and how, oh darling, you were wonderful in that role. And they like the plaudits and the
plaudits and the congratulations,
yes.
and the kind words, the flattering words,
the awards,
yes. Right. And when people say that they don't do it for that, they are lying.
They are lying.
You get a lot of false modesty, in show business where people pretend not to enjoy it, but really they love it.
And that happens at work, of course. I'm in sales. And that's that's performing in a way, but in any type of work environment, they're always giving awards for the person that's done the best job, and everybody wants recognition of some degree, particularly in your workplace, because it's showing, it's telling you that you've done a good job. And it makes you feel good makes you work harder.
Anyway, we have Mishi on the live chat. Mishi Ham says, hello, Mr. Duncan. Please say hello to my little son, Hamza. Please, please, please. Hello to Hamza and also hello to Mishi as well.
Oh, Bella's there. I didn't know Bella was from Brazil.
Yes.
Oh.
Your favourite place.
My favourite place. Right, here we go then. Right, so on to H.
H.
Oh, no, I'm doing it like this again. H, host, a person who receives and entertains another as a guest. So they're a guest and they entertain people. Another word could be compere, spelt C-O-M-P-E-R-E. Not C-O-M-P-A-R-E, which is a very different word altogether.
Yes, compare is spelt differently. Compare. It can be spelt in two different ways, and of course the differences are very, very separate.
Yes, if you're comparing two things, you're looking at the differences, where a compare, so there's a slightly different stress on the word, on the way that you say those two words. So you would compare something, but somebody who's presenting and performing is a compare. There's a little accent over the the first E in that word as well, apparently.
Okay.
But they introduce performers, so that's somebody who's entertaining. So you might say, welcome to the Oscars. Tonight your host is... And do you know who the host is of the Oscars this year, Mr. Duncan?
I want to say Ricky Gervais because that's the only time I ever watched the Oscars. I've only watched award ceremonies when someone who I know will be funny is comparing or hosting. So if it's not Ricky Gervais, I won't be watching.
Oh, well, it is in fact, and I wonder if anyone is putting that up that they know. Any of your viewers know who is comparing or hosting the Oscars tonight? It's somebody I'd never heard of, called Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel.
That sounds like, with a name like that, they've got to be a comedian, I would
Jimble
think.
Kimball. It's Jimble Kimball. Yes, he's actually a chat show host.
Ah,
he is
right.
He is one of the top chat show hosts, but not as high up as some of the others. Certainly some of the others that have gone over the years, like David Letterman and Jay Leno. But he's still doing it, and he's still popular. Lots of his videos on YouTube, and of course there are two people called Jimmy, two chat show hosts called Jimmy. There's Jimmy Fallon,
okay,
and Jimmy Kimmel, and a lot of people get them both mixed up.
And of course, what do the host traditionally do? They traditionally now these days is they try to be as confrontational and what's the word I'm looking for? They're always trying to really make a big impact by saying something controversial. So
yes,
everyone will be waiting to see if Jimmy Kimmel says anything controversial tonight.
Can I just say that he won't? Because now all of these award ceremonies over the past few weeks have been very safe.
Oh, have they?
And very political. So there won't be anything that will offend anyone at tonight's Oscars. That's one thing I do know. So everything will be very boring. Everything will be very tame. No one will be making any real jokes. It will be very, very bland.
Because there have been a few...
and very political, which of course takes all the fun out of it. What happened to entertainment? Entertainment is there to entertain people. But nowadays it's so depressing.
It's all been... The word is sanitized, isn't it? Where everything is sort of... there are no extremes anywhere.
Yes.
Everything is sort of... Anyway, we're getting... People will be accusing us of moaning.
No, well, that's all we've done today. All we've done today is, well, especially Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve has moaned a lot today.
No, not me. Anyway, let's keep things upbeat.
Yes, please.
Because we're talking about the Oscars and words, the A to Z of the Oscars. So words that can be related to the Oscars, but can be used in helping to teach people English.
Okay, Mr. Steve,
so,
get a move on.
Here's another one. Oh, I'm going down there. I think it was Nicole who said, "Don't cover your eyes." We're going for this one. Well, in memoriam.
Is that a word?
Yes, in memoriam. Well, it's an expression, in memoriam. It means in memory. So what they will do on the Oscars is they will look at all the actors and actresses that have died over the past year, and they will do what's called an in memoriam. So they will probably show pictures and photographs and little bits of excerpts from films in which these actresses and actors died, and just to show appreciation and respect for the work that all these actors and actresses and directors and anybody involved in the film industry who's famous have sadly passed on over the last 12 months.
Yes, I can already guess what the music will be. It will be sort of dun 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 dun, do 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 do, dun 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 dun.
Get your tissue out. Get your tissue ready. But it is quite sad when you've known. Is he still going? Is he still going? Just go and make yourself a cup of tea while Mr. Duncan is singing his sad song.
music.
Sad story.
This is sad music.
There will be sad music. I think you went on a bit too long there, Mr. Duncan, but never mind. There are lots of words related to memoriam, of course. There's memorial, which is a building or some kind of statue, which is erected to commemorate somebody who's died. There's memorandum.
Yes, it's all Latin, I think.
It's all Latin. There's memorandum, which is a document used to record things. Memorial we've had, and of course memory comes from the Latin there as well, meaning to be able to recall past events.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about, recording. So in memoriam is about looking at the people that have died. So that's what they will be doing on the Oscars tonight. Of course, who's died this year? Famous actors and actresses who have died over the last 12 months. Can you remember any, Mr. Duncan?
Can I remember any famous actors who have died over the past 12 months? I can think of a couple of British actors, but not anyone that would be sort of Hollywood worthy.
Well, John Hurt died.
Of course, that
Famous actor.
Yes, of course, last year. I keep forgetting that because John Hurt is one of my most favourite actors, and it's still hard to believe that he's gone. It's a bit like David Bowie. It's a bit like him. It's hard to believe that he's gone, but he went in 2016. So he actually went 2 years ago.
Roger Moore
last year, yes.
James Bond.
Roger Moore. But well, he's not actually James Bond. He's just an actor that plays James Bond. But there you go.
I think everybody knew that I meant that.
Yes.
Mary Tyler Moore, not related to
yes.
Roger Moore, but she was a famous actor.
Yes, she was also the head of MTM television. She produced a lot of memorable comedy programs during the 1970s and 80s.
Jerry Lewis as well.
Yes, Jerry Lewis. Not everyone's cup of tea.
No.
Not everyone's cup of tea, but I think Jerry Lewis is a brilliant actor, and it just so happens that I have a movie here that has Jerry Lewis starring in it.
Now that is a coincidence.
Yes, so there it is.
Comedy, yes.
So there it is, yes. There it is, Jerry Lewis.
He played the part of somebody who was annoyed. If he played that role very well when he was annoyed at somebody, that sort of pent up anger that he was sort of holding inside, he had that emotion on his face. It was just palpable. He had a certain way of playing certain roles.
Yes.
Which
did you know that Jerry Lewis actually made a whole movie? It cost him a lot of money. I think he financed it himself. And when he saw the movie that he'd made, he hated it so much, he ordered that the movie should never, ever be shown by anyone anywhere.
Is that right?
It's true. He actually made a movie. It was apparently going to be his masterpiece. And he made it, and he realised it was just an awful, awful film, quite depressing. The Clown Who Cried, it's called.
So it's never been shown?
It's never been shown. No one has ever seen it all the way through. It's never been released. And he hated the film so much, he never allowed it to be released.
Maybe it will be released now.
But this, by the way, is a brilliant movie. Robert De Niro and also Jerry Lewis, Martin Scorsese, of course, directing, a very famous director, and a good movie. So I thought I'd mention movies today because we are talking about the Oscars. Yes, we've got the Oscar fever.
Oscar fever. So here's another J. We're up to J in the A to Z of Oscar and Academy Award related words or phrases. So we're up to J, and J is standing for just kidding. Nicole, I'm going to try this down here instead of up here. Just kidding. So why have I put just kidding?
I don't know.
Because last year, if you remember, the phrase just kidding means, let's read this out, to indicate a statement that is not to be taken seriously. A joke. Just kidding. Last year, if you remember, they awarded, I think it was Best Picture, to one particular film, and then had to famously correct it and said, "Well, no, it's not. You haven't got that award after all. It's this other film that got it instead."
They said it was La La Land.
Yes,
And they read the wrong movie out.
they read the wrong movie out.
It wasn't La La Land. It was actually a film called Moonlight.
So, in fact, just kidding. The reason I put that on for the J is that they're obviously going to make a joke of it tonight, and whoever they award the best movie to, they're going to say, "Oh, just kidding.
No.
It's not you after all."
Let me just say there will be no jokes. Tonight's Oscar ceremony will be the most bland and boring and soulless thing ever.
Well, maybe not. Oh, Mr.
No.
Duncan, Mr. Duncan, your new computer's on fire. Just kidding. Oh, there we go. That's how you use "just kidding."
I just had a heart attack then. Oh, wait there a
You
minute.
didn't really think I meant that, did you?
Oh my goodness.
I think I got Mr. Duncan there.
I actually thought my computer was on fire then.
Oh, that's it. That's yes. You can be used to, so you can use it in a jokey way like that. And as soon as, so if you say something that, like I could say, oh, Mr. Duncan, your hat's on fire. Oh, and as soon as you see their reaction, they're shocked by something that you said to them, or your shoelace is undone. You could say, "Oh, your shoelace is undone." And they look down and it isn't. You say, "Oh, just kidding." Just a sort of a jokey, funny way. Of course, you can get thumped in the face for going too far with that sort of thing.
That's what I'm thinking of doing now. Going over to you and giving you a big clout.
It can also be used to soften a direct insult, but the person really means it. So rather than do something as a joke, you can insult somebody, and then when you see that they're getting a bit upset, you just say, "Oh, just kidding," but in fact you really meant it. So I could say, "Oh, Mr. Duncan, oh, is that what you decided to wear today?"
I'm never going to believe anything you say ever again.
Yeah, as I was saying, Mr. Duncan, is that what you decided to put on today? I.e., it's a bit of an insult because he's a bit scruffily dressed. And then when he looks a bit upset, you go, "Oh, just kidding," but in fact you meant it. "Oh, you put on a bit of weight, haven't you?" Just kidding. Although you weren't kidding because they have put on weight. So you're insulting them, but softening the blow by saying "just kidding." So got to be careful how you use that one. But
do you know what you were saying then? Sort of went round in a circle. It kept going round and round. It's like one of those little child's toys, you know, where a train goes round the track again and again. Your dialogue then was just going round and round in circles.
What was it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll see it on the replay, because obviously we watched this afterwards because we're so concerned with laughing at ourselves and wondering how well we've looked, how well we've performed, that we'll watch the whole thing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. See, I've done it again. P. We're up to P. What time
P.
is it?
Yeah,
I've got to get through these quickly. I'm not even halfway through the alphabet yet.
Do you realise we'll still be on when the Oscars begin?
P is for, there we go, Plant a Kiss.
At this rate, we'll be doing the commentary.
Oh, this is K, not P.
We'll be doing
K.
the commentary for the Oscars.
It's K we're up to.
Welcome to the 2018 Oscars. Who will win an award? Who will go home tonight with one of those prestigious Oscar awards?
Not us, that's for certain.
Join me, your host,
He's still going
Mr.
on,
Duncan, for the 2018 Oscars.
You've got to be a bit more enthusiastic than that.
No, that's-
Anyway, K is for kiss.
I'm giving it some gravitas.
Plant a kiss. So instead of kiss, I've said plant a kiss because that's an expression which means to go over to somebody unexpectedly and enthusiastically and give them a kiss on the lips or on the cheek or somewhere. And that, of course, is what often happens to the presenters or to people on normally beautiful actresses. The presenter or somebody will go up to them and plant a kiss.
Can I just say there will be no
unexpectedly
kisses
on
tonight?
them.
You can't do it anymore. You can't shake hands.
No, they won't be doing that.
There won't be any kissing taking place tonight. Trust me.
But if the expression plant a kiss means just to suddenly, unexpectedly.
I think they will all
go
be
up to
wrapped in
somebody.
cling film, and they'll all be in sort of little vacuum sealed jars, just to make sure that no one
Yes.
accidentally touches the other person,
They
just
might,
in case. You
Might
have
be
to
accused of a Harvey Weinstein if they go
Harvey
over.
Weinstein. Well, there's so many now. I've lost count. How many are there now? Harvey Weinstein, the House of Cards guy,
Yes. So yeah, if you go up to somebody and
the other one,
interesting.
the
Do you
other
know where
one,
that? Do you
you
know
know,
where
the
it
other
comes
one,
from?
the other guy with the legs,
We're talking over each other.
the other guy with the legs.
Legs.
Yeah, he's been accused, and then there's the other guy that sometimes wears a hat. He's been accused, and then
I'm
there's
glad you know their names.
There's the other guy that sometimes wears his shoes and sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes he goes for a walk on the beach to think things over. He's been accused. So many people have been accused. So there'll be no kissing tonight.
Not without prior consent.
No, nothing. You can't do anything anymore. You can't hold a door open for a woman.
Oh, I think
that's
you can.
harassment.
Anyway,
That's harassment.
do you know where it comes from? The expression "plant a kiss."
I have no idea.
I looked this up. Well, the idea is that you're planting something like a seed in soil. So you kiss somebody in the hope that something will grow from it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the idea. So a relationship
Yeah.
or
Something will grow, all right. It's called a
will grow from
lawsuit. We'll see you in court.
Oh, Mr. Duncan. Right, we're up to L. L is for leading role. Predictable, maybe, but it's obviously a leading role is the most important role. In the case of a film, it's the leading actor or the leading actress. Or you could your daughter could take the leading role in the school play, for example. Another word for the leading actor or actress is the principal. Not to be confused. There's two different words that sound exactly the same. There's principal, which is the person who takes the leading role, spelt PrinCipal.
It would have been better if you'd wrote these down, by the way.
It would have been, but I thought, well, we're going to run out of time. Or principal with PLE on the end.
That's definitely going to
which
happen.
is a different
yes,
thing altogether. So the principal role, right? So that's it. I think it's also an important part. I can't even read my own writing. I'm going to go like that now. Let's move on. We know what leading role is.
Yeah, leading role is just the person who's in the film for most of the time.
It is, yes. It
like
is.
me. I'm the leading role in this live stream because I'm on the screen more than he is.
Yes, I'm more of a supporting role, and I'll come on to that later.
You're just a guest. A sidekick.
Yes, it might not necessarily be the star of the show.
I might give you one of those later.
Role might not.
I might
be the
give you a
star.
sidekick later.
Here we go. Music moments. There's an expression. A music moment or music moments. I saw you. What's that?
What?
What is that? It's a notable or memorable song or performance.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a phrase that's used. A music moment. For example, Michael Jackson doing his moonwalk is a notable music moment.
Yes,
and there are lots of music sort of notable performances, and they'll talk about these in the Oscars.
Yes.
Right, N is for nominee or nominees. Right, that's the person who's officially suggested that they should get a particular award. They are nominated for a position or honour. Or for an election, for example. So the Oscar nominees, these are the people who are selected by officials to win an award. There might be 4 or 5 of them, and one of them will get an award.
So your name is put forward.
Your name is put forward
on a list.
But it might not be that. You could be nominated to be a chairman of a local committee. You could nominate yourself to do something. I nominate myself as leader of this organisation, you can do that, as long as people don't try and get rid of you.
It's a bit big-headed.
I nominate Mr. Duncan as the best teacher in the world who wears a hat.
I'm not sure. Is that a real thing?
No, I've just made it up. But that's what you can do. You can nominate anything.
Where's my award? I want an award. Give me one now. Give me an award. I need an award.
Haven't you got a best teacher award? Haven't you shown that in previous? You had a best teacher award. Anyway, we're coming on to O. What is O?
I made that myself.
That is true. He did. O is for what? It can only be one thing.
Again, I can think of one or two.
O is for Oscar.
Oh, Oscar.
Which is just the Academy Awards or the Oscars. They're interchangeable. But where did this word come from? Oscar is obvious. Well, does anybody know? Do you know, Mr. Duncan?
No, you're here to tell us.
I know. Well, I'm just sort of, rather than just me talking all the time.
Well, it's an Oscar. It's a kind of an acronym, but it's not a proper an acronym. Is that right?
No, it literally is a name, because that is a man's name, Oscar. There are various. Actually, nobody really knows where it came from, but the sort of leading theory is that there was somebody called Margaret Hewick, who was a librarian, worked back in the 1930s, I think, for the Academy Awards. And she said that the award which they give, which is obviously like a gold figure of a man, isn't it, looked like her Uncle Oscar. And the idea is that she said that and it stuck. And then from there on, they called the Oscars because the actual award that's given away looked like somebody's uncle. But there are other theories. That's just one.
It would be a man, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You do realise now we're going to have Oscars that are for the different genders. So you'll have to have a lady Oscar, and it won't be an Oscar. It'll be I don't know. I'm trying to think of a female name that sounds like Oscar.
Marjorie.
That sounds. You think Marjorie sounds like Oscar?
A Julie. The Julies. How about that one?
The Julies.
The Julies.
That sounds like some sort of illness.
I'll have to.
I've got a touch.
All right, we're up to P. We're going fast now. P is performer.
I've got a touch of the Julies.
P is performer. Lots of performers. All trying to outdo each other in the Oscar ceremonies. Lots of performers in all the films.
Are we still on?
So it's just... is anyone watching? We're continuing with the A to Z of Oscar-related words or phrases.
This is proving to be as exciting as tonight's Oscars.
A person who entertains an audience. That is simply what a performer is. Actor, singer, entertainer. He's a brilliant performer.
Pretending.
Oh, Mr. Duncan, you're a brilliant performer.
Pretend.
That's it. So that's a performer. We all know what that is. Now here we're getting a little complicated here. Q. What do you think we could have for Q, Mr. Duncan?
I can think of one. A lot of people in Hollywood are
yes. Go on.
Questionable
the
morals of the film industry. You see? Questioning. They are questioning.
Clever.
Yes.
So you had me thinking you were going one way and you went a completely different way.
I definitely went another way.
So you weren't thinking of qualitative then? When I said Q.
What?
I've actually got two. Look.
I'm sorry. If there is one word that I would never think of when you talk about show business or Hollywood, qualitative.
Yes. Qualitative and because I put qualitative up, I can't. It's all back to front. It's very difficult for me to align this. Qualitative and quantitative. What's the difference? Because these two phrases often get mixed up. The reason I put qualitative is because that's really what the Oscars are, really. Some people would probably argue with me there. But this is something concerned with quality, not quantity.
Yes.
Okay. So it's research looking at the overall picture of something. Now, when I say picture, I don't mean films. So what's quantitative, right, is looking into the detail. The details. I know what you're laughing at. Oh, I know exactly what Mrs. does because I use the word.
So, are we? Is this like biophysics or chemistry?
No,
or
these
something?
are words which are used. They're scientific phrases, but
I
they're
just
used
wanted
in
words
everyday.
I just wanted frivolous, fun words.
No, you're not having that with me.
I just wanted like glitz and glamour and spotlight.
You like the way I'm doing that?
Yes.
Moving them around.
By the
like
way,
that.
you also spelt performer wrong.
Have I?
Yes.
Oh dear.
You missed the R out.
Oh well, you'll have to kick me off. I haven't performed very well today, have I?
P-E-R.
Right, so qualitative is looking at the overall. You're not going into any detail about something. So if you want to do a research project at work, okay, or you want to do some scientific research, then you start off with qualitative research, which means that you're not going into any detail about the project. You're just looking at ideas around it, and then later on you start going into far more detail and getting data, real data, hard facts and figures, and that's the quantitative part.
Can I fast forward this?
No, you can't. So if you do surveys or polls or no, people will want to know the difference because these are often
Bye,
used.
everyone. Bye.
These are often used in everyday speak. You will say, well, do a project at work. Well, is that qualitative or quantitative?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want quantitative. I don't want you to go into very much detail. So you would say that's qualitative. And if you go into lots of detail and get lots of facts and figures about it, then that's the quantitative side of it. So
is it a bit like in economics they had quantitative easing?
I'm not sure if that's the same thing. Right, we're up to R, which is red carpet. Red carpet. Okay, Mr. Duncan, I think we all know what you're thinking about. I say red carpet. Well, I'm on about carpet that you walk on. So a red carpet. So while Mr. Duncan recovers, I will explain what red carpet is. Traditionally, it's the route taken by heads of state, kings and queens, on formal or ceremonial occasions. So they walk down a red carpet. That's what it was traditionally used for. They roll out the red carpet from the aeroplane to wherever the monarch is going. But of course, nowadays it is used for sort of VIPs, celebrities, actors, actresses. If you walk the red carpet, it basically means you are a very important person.
I think I just shut you off then.
Did you?
I think I just turned your microphone down by accident.
Do you want me to start again?
No, I don't.
Red carpet.
What's
traditionally used by royalty on sort of heads of state in ceremonial occasions. Mr. Duncan switched me off.
What's Z? Can you give us Z?
S is supporting star. That's me. You're the star. I'm supporting star. So it's an important role, but not as important as the leading actor. Okay.
We've got 8 more.
But supporting role, supporting star. But if you use supporting role or supporting star, they can be used interchangeably. A country can have a supporting role. For example, the United States played an important supporting role in the negotiation. So it doesn't have to be just a person. It can be right. Trailer. T is for trailer, which is a short excerpt from a film.
That's where I'll be living next week.
A trailer. It's also a vehicle.
I'll be living in the garden in a trailer.
So that's a trailer. A short excerpt of a film. It's also a vehicle which is towed by another vehicle. Or in American, a trailer is equivalent to a caravan in English. So it's a sort of a mobile home that you can pull around. But I didn't realise it's a person that trails as well. So somebody that lags behind, somebody that's a bit slow. A trailer.
You.
Right. U is for underdog.
That's me.
Underdog. A competitor thought to have little chance of winning. A competitor thought to have little chance of winning. For example, you could say that a horse is. You could say that horse, or whatever that horse's name is, or they're the underdog, so they're not going to win. And then suddenly they do win. Everybody likes to see the underdog, the person that's not expected to win, to actually win. Everybody loves that.
Yes, the underdog is the person who seems very pathetic or very weak, or maybe they get a lot of sympathy from people.
Yes.
So I think maybe today I feel a lot like an underdog. In
sporting events, the underdog, particularly in English, is always sort of celebrated, often more than the winners. So we, for example, in skiing, we're always very poor at going back to the Winter Olympics. We had somebody called Eddie the Eagle Edwards, who was absolutely useless at skiing, but he was the underdog, the person that took part in the competition but wasn't expecting to win, because they're not very good at it, but sometimes they just might pull it off and you really root for them. You want them to win.
When did we mention the Olympic Games today?
Yes, last week.
Oh, okay.
Right, we're going late. V is video on demand. Video on demand. You can explain that one.
Is that
that's what YouTube's all about, isn't it?
Oh, like VD.
VD?
VOD.
That's something else altogether, Mr. Duncan. That's an infectious disease.
I'm all wet.
Video on demand. That's just a phrase used on YouTube. That's video on demand. It's just you click on it and it's there.
Mr. Steve has made me wet.
W is for westernize, because the Oscars are. A lot of people accuse sort of programs like this, which may be shown in other countries as westernization. So to westernize is to adopt or be influenced by the culture, economics or politics of Europe or America. So and a lot of people get upset about this because they don't, particularly in our country, we've been really affected by sort of Western. Well, we are. What am I talking about? We are Western culture. I'm talking about Americanism.
Yes, here in the West.
We are in the West.
Here in Western culture, we've been affected by Western culture.
I was getting confused with something else then.
Where do you think you are?
The West. It's America, Europe.
Where do you think you are at the moment?
People maybe in other countries might get upset about westernization. They see this creep of sort of the culture of America and Europe spreading throughout the world. Right? X, we're nearly there. X is obviously for X Factor.
What?
X is X Factor. This is something which a lot of the actors and performers and directors have in Hollywood. It's this undescribable quality that makes somebody special. The X Factor, an element, something that you can't put into words, but you just know they've got something special. And there's a television programme, of course, in the UK called The X Factor, which has been exported all around the world.
Yes.
Which just looks at that very quality.
So the X Factor is kind of that mystical thing that makes you stand out from all the rest.
Yes, something undefinable, something that you just can't put into words sometimes. Y is for yawn.
Yeah. I can hear a lot of people around the world doing that today.
Yes. A wide open mouth. Oh, showing all my fillings probably then. A yawn. It just means something that's wide and open. It doesn't have to be your mouth. It can be used to describe anything that's open and wide. This might upset people. It's another Y. I've got two Ys. I've got Yankee.
Okay, just slow down a bit, Steve. Slow down a bit. I can't take all of this in.
How about this one? Yankee.
It's
American.
Yankee.
It's American.
What's that got to do with the Oscars?
It hasn't. Well, it's American. The Oscars are American. So I've just put Y. I couldn't think of another Y. So Y is for Yankee, which is just another word for somebody from North America. Of course, it can be seen as a bit slightly derogatory, but hopefully nobody will be upset by that.
So you can't think of another thing to do with Really? Are you sure?
Well, I've had 2 Ys, so that's another one. Or youth, could be youth, because youth is celebrated in film. Everyone wants to see all the youthful, young, beautiful actresses and actresses.
Let me tell you what happens in films in the movie industry. It's actually exploited. They exploit youth and also they exploit beauty.
Yes.
Mm.
But youth is an important factor. Right, we're up to the last one in our A to Z.
I can't wait to see what
Oscar.
Let's just hold for a second, because this has been a very strange one today. I didn't realise that this would become such a fiasco.
I did warn you.
Such a fiasco.
Fiasco.
Ooh, what time is it?
It's been all right.
Are we still on?
I don't know. Is anyone watching? Hopefully.
Look, the Oscars will be starting in a minute. we're almost clashing with the Oscars.
Right, we need a drum roll for Zed.
I need a bread roll.
Are you hungry?
I am actually. I'm starving. Can you see what I've got here? Just to change the subject slightly. We're going to hold on the Z for a moment.
Everyone's waiting for the Z.
Yesterday we cleared our neighbour's driveway, and look what she gave us. Yes. Oh, she gave us some lovely homemade scones.
Homemade scones, and delicious they are too.
Look at that, gorgeous.
It was such an effort, wasn't it, cleaning the snow away, that when we came in we were so hungry we ate 4 of them straight off.
Yes, we did. We ate them, and she gave us some jam, some homemade jam, and also some cream as well. It was gorgeous.
Jam, some cream, and we just stuffed them down our gobs.
We ate them very quickly. Anyway, let's have Zed. Mr. Steve's A to Z. A to Z, or if you're watching in the United States, A to Z.
I like it, Mr. Duncan. So, Zed, the last one. Here it is. Have we got any suggestions of what Zed could be?
I think it could be zany.
Zany? Very good. It could be zany.
Which means crazy or mad. So if you are zany, you are very wild, you are wacky, you are outrageous.
Have we got any suggestions from any of the viewers?
Zany. No. There are 1 or 2 suggestions. Most of them are, can you please disconnect your internet forever, Mr. Duncan?
I'm sure that's not the case. Surely we haven't been boring.
Anything but.
Anyone coming up with any? I want a suggestion from somebody as to what Zed could be.
No
Zest. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Catherine says zest. I am full of zest. Life. Thank you very much.
Okay then. Zest. Yes, energy. Is that what it is?
Yes, zest, energy. Yes, you've got a little bit of pizzazz about you.
Oh, is that the word?
What? No, that isn't the word.
You know, the thing you're doing now. To
Zealous,
the world.
Zealous. I could be zealous, couldn't I?
Yes. What's zealous?
You're the English teacher.
No, but you like the word. You just said, oh, zealous.
Somebody just suggested zealous.
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid you're all wrong. It is, in fact, zinger. Zinger. There we go. That's something that the host of the show will be making lots of tonight, assuming he's allowed to.
There won't be any. Look, can I just say now? Don't bother watching the Oscars tonight. It will be so
Mr.
boring.
Duncan.
It will be sterile. There won't be any jokes. There will be no laughter. It will be all. I'm going to stand up for my.
Mr. Duncan, stop being such a spoil sport.
Listen to what I've got to say here.
Zinger.
I'm a millionaire telling people sitting on their sofas how to live. Listen to me.
Have you finished, Mr. Duncan?
I'm a poor millionaire.
Oh, he's still going on. I'm going to cut him off. I'm going to go over there and twiddle with his knobs. Right, zinger.
There'll be none of that tonight.
A striking or amusing remark or retort. Quite often a put-down remark. He opened his speech with a series of zingers. So, yes, it's just you say something, and also it can be used if somebody says something derogatory to you or hurtful to you, you immediately spring back with a comment or phrase which really puts them down and surprises them with the speed of your very fast reply, and that is a zinger. And they shut them up. They're quiet. They can't say anything. They're just so surprised by what you've come back to them with. So you call that a zinger. But it also can be an outstanding thing or person as well.
That is what I think Bella actually has just put there. Let me just see if we can get the live chat back up.
Ooh.
Bella, yes, zinger, a noun, North American informal, a striking or amusing remark. Open a speech with a zinger. Synonyms include witticism, quip, joke, more an outstanding person. More an outstanding person or thing.
Yes.
I don't know what that means. That doesn't seem to make sense, that last bit. A zinger of a shot. Oh, I see. Something that's very outstanding that someone's done.
Yes, a zinger. Like in golf, you can say a zinger of a shot. Oh, that was a zinger of a shot. It means a very good shot, unexpected and very good. But you can also use it in sort of, if you talk sort of a more urban speak, more sort of urban. What would be another way of using the word urban? Sort of, yes, it's used in more sort of people who are really with it. Fashionable people.
Yes,
young people.
I'm always hearing teenagers nowadays talking about being with it.
Yes. Well, a zinger can be is a remarkable phrase often made with an exaggerated hand movement.
Is this the 1960s?
Did you hear what I said then?
Hey man,
a remark or phrase.
Hey man, I'm really with it. I'm with it. I'm so down, man.
That's not quite what I meant.
Anyway,
it's a remark, a zinger remark. So it's an unexpected or very prominent remark, but it's done at the same time with an exaggerated hand gesture, which young people, urbanites, will often use. Yes, exactly. So you might. I don't know, somebody might say, a girl might come up to you unexpectedly and you're with all your friends, and she might say, oh, here's my number, call me. And then she'll go off and all your friends will go, zinger! Or something. There we go. That's an urban zinger. Mr. Duncan has gone back in his chair.
What was that?
It was a zinger.
Can we just have that in slow motion?
It's a word or phrase.
I want to see that
said with an exaggerated hand movement.
Can you just do that one more time before we go?
I'm not sure that I can recreate that.
I'm not sure that anyone could.
Zinger. I don't know.
That's strangely surprising and slightly upsetting at the same time. I don't know how you're doing.
Did it make me look trendy and up to date?
No.
And with it.
It looks as if you're having some sort of seizure.
Anyway, we've done it. We're done. That's the A to Z.
Zinger.
Well, apparently, young people do that with their friends.
This has been a very strange couple of hours.
I've enjoyed it.
Okay. You might be in the minority. So the Oscars are taking place tonight, but don't bother watching because it's going to be so boring.
No. Do it. Watch a rerun. Go back to YouTube and watch us do this all over again.
Just watch this tonight. Instead of the Oscars, just put this on.
Yes.
And watch this. This is more entertaining because it will be so sterile, so boring.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be.
I know. Here's the award.
Oh, Mr. Duncan.
I can't make any jokes. I've been told that I can't make any jokes.
You're pulling the mood down.
We don't
Mr.
have
Duncan.
humour anymore in entertainment.
I think there will be. I think Jerry, what's his face? What's
Jerry?
His name?
Go on. Jerry?
I don't know. What was his name?
Jimmy.
The host. Jimmy. I wanted to say Jimmy Nail, but that's a performer from the 1980s. What's his name again? Jimmy Kimmel. That's it.
There are two Jimmys, you see. There are two Jimmys.
Jimmy Kimmel will. I think he will. Because when somebody stands up to perform, I think that they, unless there's somebody maybe with an electric shocker, maybe he's wired up to the mains, and if he starts to say anything inappropriate, they'll give him an electric shock.
Look, they will tell him before he goes on. They'll say, "Look, Jimmy, look, We're all so serious now. Entertainment is no longer about having fun or enjoying yourself. So go out there, don't make any jokes, just read from the auto cue, read the words that we've told you to say, and don't forget, no humour. Trust me, that's what it'll be. Tonight's Oscars will be so bland, so boring, so vanilla, no one will watch it.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I predict it. It'll just be lots of people making political statements for a couple of hours, and no one's going to remember who won the awards. No one's will. It'll just be, oh, what did she say?
It'll be all over the news.
Was Oprah there? Will Oprah be? Do you think Oprah will be there tonight?
Isn't she the richest woman in the world, apart from the Queen? I think she's worth a lot of money, isn't she, Oprah?
Yes.
Anyway.
Apparently she's going to be the new president of the USA.
Oh. No comment there.
Things can only...
I'm not going to make any comment. I'm sure she would be very, very good. She's a very sensible lady. And that's all I'm going to say.
So basically just anyone now. Anyone now. Do you think I could be the president of the USA?
No.
Why?
Well, you're not American, for a start. You have to be American.
I suppose so.
I think that's one of the rules.
But then Donald Trump is Scottish descendant.
Descendant, yes. Barack Obama was descended from somewhere else, but you have to have been actually... I don't know what the rules are, but you have to be an American citizen.
You have to be born in the USA.
I think you do actually have to be born
in the USA.
Was Barack Obama born in the USA?
Do you like my Bruce Springsteen impression?
Yes, I was just ignoring it.
Bruce Springsteen always sounds like he's got a sore throat.
That's probably because he has. We're running over again. Look at the time.
Born in the USA.
If you did it, it gives you a sore throat just to listen to him.
Yeah, I think Bruce Springsteen always goes around with some cough sweets, some sweets to help his throat.
He's an all-American guy.
He was born in the USA. Anyway, it's time to go. I've enjoyed. I can't begin to tell you. I can't begin to tell you how much I've enjoyed today.
I was just bringing some wind up then. I'm burping. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I have too, Mr. Duncan.
I can't begin to express. I really can't.
Well, I hope that we have entertained your viewers today, and also that they have learnt something new that they didn't know before. I think
it. Can I just say, I think today's live stream has taught a lot of people a lesson. I think they've learned a lesson today. Don't click on YouTube.
No, do click. Do click on Mr. Duncan.
Oh dear. Anyway, we're going now. It's time to say goodbye. Do you want to see the Snow Angel one more time? Let's have the Snow Angel one more time, and then we're going. Did you like that, Steve?
I did. I thought it was very good. Of course, I was filming it, so well, not really. You told me what to do. I held the camera, but yes, we made several attempts, didn't we? We did one walking on the way back, but the snow was so deep you couldn't properly do the angel, so we redid it when we got back home. It's a good job we didn't leave it till today, because the snow's virtually all melted because it's been raining.
That's true, yes, the snow has almost gone. I'm amazed that the snow lasted for such a short time. It all came down so fast and so furiously. And you know what I wanted to show today? I wanted to show that there was actually a movie made here in Much Wenlock. Shall I do that quickly?
Go on.
There was actually a movie made here in Much Wenlock
I think
called
you've mentioned that before, but yes.
Clockwise. And here are some pictures. Now this is this is a photograph taken from the movie. So this is actually taken from the movie Clockwise, and there you can see in the movie there is the Guild Hall. The Guild Hall here in Much Wenlock, and that's taken from the movie Clockwise. Would you like to see another picture?
Go on.
Okay, so here is another scene, and there is John Cleese, well-known actor, and there he is next to the Raven Hotel, which is right here in Much Wenlock. And of course there is another shot. So there it is, there is the Raven Hotel, and you can see the phone box, and that's a famous scene where John Cleese is trying to make a phone call and he can't get his money into the phone box.
That car's an Austin, by the way.
It's an Austin.
It's an old British make of car that no longer exists.
I think this movie was made in about 1980. About 1980. Would you like to see the Raven, how it looks now? Because things have changed a lot over the years. So the telephone box, or those telephone boxes, are no longer there because there is a new building. So let's have a look at what it looks like now. And there it is now today. Oh, look at that.
Ooh. So where the telephone boxes are, there's another building.
Yes, that is now the kitchen. So that's the kitchen area
Right.
of the Raven Hotel. So let's have a look at the past again. So here it is in the past. In the movie, Clockwise, Much Wenlock is featured in the movie. And there it is now. As you can see, the phone boxes have gone.
Oh, it doesn't
They've
look quite
gone.
so nice, does it?
No.
So did that film achieve any awards, do you think, at the Academy?
I don't think it
Oscars?
did. It's actually a British film made in Britain. So it's a British film. I'm not sure if it picked up any Oscars. I don't think so.
One of the awards that's given out, I think there are 25 awards given out, I believe. One of them is Best Foreign Film.
Hmm.
So they do have a category for foreign films.
That's normally foreign language.
Yes, exactly. Foreign language, best foreign language.
Well, it won't be
film.
English then, will it?
No, it won't be. It won't be English. It'll be in a different language. There you go.
Do you want to see my impression of someone from the 1980s? Here we go. This is something from the 1980s. Do you see that? That's what they used to do in movies. They would always look over the top of their sunglasses.
Normally, a beautiful woman would do that.
It's time to go. It's time to say goodbye. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
I was going to say we'll see you next week, but you're not here next week.
I'm not.
There is no Mr. Steve next week.
Which is why I've done all that today. No, it's Mother's Day and next Sunday. So I am off to see my mother.
Yes.
You're not off to see your mother. You're going to stay here and do a show.
I have to stay here. Someone has to do this, you see. Even though you're going off gallivanting, you're going to see your mum because she'll smack your bottom if you don't go over there. It's true. Steve's mum still smacks his bum when he's naughty.
Well, so obviously I'm going to see my mother. So you're not. You're going to stay here.
I have to do this. Yes, I have no choice.
You can take a week off, but
Or
you
else-
won't. You are so dedicated to your pupils all around the world.
Yes, I even give up time with my mummy.
Mr. Duncan is going to be here, but I'm going to see my mother. So I will see you all in 2 weeks' time.
You're not going to see my mother.
I might do.
No, you
You're
just
not
said
going to see her. I might go and see her.
You just said I'm going to see your mother.
Oh, did I? Oh,
Yes.
right. Okay.
No, you're not going to see my mother.
I'm going to see
That
my
doesn't make
mother.
any sense. If you go to see my mother, that will still make your mother angry. I think you're going to see your mother.
I am going to see my mother. You are correct.
Just in case my mum's watching. If my mum's watching, Mr. Steve isn't coming to see you next week. So
Yes.
don't get too excited.
and if your mother's watching,
Steve's
your
actually
son
going.
is not coming to see you next Sunday.
Yes, that's it. Steve is actually going to his mother's.
Oh dear.
Is it me or is it hot in here?
It's getting hot.
We're going now. I'll see you on
Finally.
Wednesday. We will be here Wednesday night, of course. Wednesday night, late and live. Can I
Yes.
just quickly remind you of the dates, because a lot of people want to know what the dates are. So there they are, the dates for all of the live streams during March. So now you should know. See you later, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Probably
Bye-bye
see
to
you all...
everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
Go on.
Happy English.
Well, you will be here on Wednesday.
I meant on Sunday.
Yes, but
Okay, yes, I'll probably be here. Probably be here on Wednesday.
yes, you will be here on Wednesday.
I will be coming back from a rehearsal.
Okay then.
So there we go. So
That's good.
Bye-bye. Are you going to... am I going to go and then you're going to close the show yourself?
Put your sunglasses down.
I think I'd better because
That's better.
I seem to be able to have problems pronouncing words at the moment. Probably because I've been talking continuously for over an hour.
You
feels like I've worked very hard. Feels like I've worked very hard today, Mr. Duncan.
You certainly have. I think the Oscars are starting in a minute. At this rate. Anyway, we'll see you later, Steve. Bye.
Bye.
That's Mr. Steve. He's gone. I think he's been gone for years, to be honest. He's been completely gone. I'm going now. See you on Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. UK time for late and live English. And of course, I'm back next week. This is Mr. Duncan saying thanks a lot for watching me. We didn't have time for the mystery idioms, but they will be here next week. But there will be no Mr. Steve next Sunday. Something which we can all be quite pleased about. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of the English language saying thanks for watching me talking to you today. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.